Welcome to Spiritism Explored and Explained, where we take you on a journey of discovery of the other side, the spirit realm, the universe from which you came and shall return. Predetermination is like being a blind pilot. Spiritism, the third revelation brought to us by the Spirit of Truth, as promised by Jesus in the New Testament, tells us how we are born on earth to live through a series of trials determined by ourselves in concert with our spirit mentors, to atone for past wrongs and to remove blemishes from our spirit personality on our way to become a pure spirit. While our attitudes and choices within trials are up to us, as dictated by the promise of free will for all souls, the formation of the obstacles placed in front of us is for the most part static. In rare instances, the details of trials may be altered, but overall, what was written will occur. If we were like young children, the events of each day would come and be a cause for enjoyment or tears, depending on the situation. In the absence of all future planning, worrying about what could happen next week, month, or year, or decade is a non-issue, but we are not young and complacent, ready to let an adult guide our every move. We are mature and we have our own plans. We have plans which cover various timelines, such as saving to buy a car, a house, or for retirement. We have anticipations that our goals will be met if we stick to the tactics we determined beforehand. We attempt to create strategies to attain our long-term goals, all without knowing exactly what events will explode in front of us in the future. Imagine living in Poland in the 1930s. You and your spouse are working hard toward retirement and making a comfortable life for your family. Suddenly, World War II breaks out, and your priorities swiftly change as you're staying alive. Or the story one hears more often, a couple sacrifices to conduct a sound financial foundation for their retirement, only to have one of them expire just before or right after their retirement target date. If they had had a chance to interrogate their predetermined life plans, they may have focused more on other activities throughout their life. But does this mean to give up and spend every day like it was your last? No. Although given the character of most of us, we wouldn't keep up a carefree existence for long. Maybe a week or so, then our compulsive need to plan would break through. The overall fact of our lives is that upon re-entering the earth life, we have promised to embark on a collection of required courses. We need to keep ourselves and our family ready to encounter any obstacles. Hence, we are required to maintain our health by limiting our bad habits, our financial situation by saving for contingencies so we do not become a burden on others, if possible, given present circumstances. Beyond what I've said before, other than striving for our spiritual growth, nothing else has to be set in stone. We don't need to figure out how to make our first million or billion. We don't need to plan on how to buy that second house or to accumulate a big enough pile of cash to ensure our children never have to work. This still leaves us with the basic plans that most of us are working toward in our daily life. My advice for calculating the reliability of accomplishing these plans is to look for the signals given to us by the spirit world. Like a blind person navigating intersections who listens for the beeps emitted by the pedestrian signs, we too must become proficient in deriving the direction we should travel by weak and subtle clues. We are all pilots who are blind to the front, but can see out of the sides and to the rear. Only a fool would keep moving forward, but we know no other direction, since we live in a universe dominated by time. Hours pass by and we are dragged along with the outgoing tide. We know that we can never swim against it and never return to a starting point. Our environment has been created with the utmost efficient methods to take us on the ride to atonement and to perfection. We can only look at where we've always been and attempt to discern where we could be going. Always keep an eye out for any hints from the spirit world. This is the difficult part, and there's no easy answer. In my book, 7 Tenets of Spiritism, How They Impact Your Daily Life, I talk about the clues I have received. As an example, during high school, I wanted to become an Air Force pilot. But during my senior year, I discovered I needed glasses. Without a doubt, my life plan did not entail me entering the armed forces. Others received rather abrupt signals, such as near-death experiences, which I cover what the spirit world is communicating to us in my book, The Spirit World Talks to Us. Or a life-changing event, such as when Dr. Gary Schwartz, who was waiting in traffic, when a voice told him to fasten his and his wife's seatbelts. Minutes afterwards, they were rear-ended by a car. From that, he embarked upon a career of trying to prove the existence of the spirit world. Some signs seemed like just part of the landscape, such as a couple deciding to sell their house. But one thing after another comes up, delay putting it on the market. Then the housing market collapses. Could they have been predestined to stay in that house? To not buy the more expensive mansion just when millions were losing their jobs? These types of course corrections happen all the time. We must think that it is called life happens, when in fact we are following a blueprint that is invisible to us. Therefore, life does happen, but in a less chaotic and random a method than we suppose. We are part of a plan, a series of marching orders designed for our improvement. What we encounter during a trek is all meant for our benefit, even though it may not seem so at the time. If you'd like to know more about how to find the signs and signals of what the spirit world is trying to tell us, read my book, The 7 Tenets of Spiritism. They will tell you about the signs and signals and the subtle plans and ways to communicate and meditate and keep in touch with the spirit world, so you can be a better student and a greater part of your plan, your blueprint for your life on earth in this life. God bless.